Oh boy, this one might ruffle a few feathers. What is good, peasants? My name is JB and I'm back here today with our way too soon Tyranitar tier list. If you're new around here, I like to kind of just do these tier lists for the new releases way too early, just to kind of, you know, get roasted a little bit, just, I don't know, throw it out there, see what happens. And also, if I'm being perfectly honest with you guys, I really like views, so I just like doing it early for that reason too. But at least I'm honest, all right? Anyway, yeah, we're gonna be ranking Tyranitar amongst the new releases, and this has potential to be one of the spicier ones yet because there are a lot of divided opinions on Tyranitar, and yeah, it's gonna definitely be interesting. Also, if you're new here, consider hitting the subscribe button. My goal was to hit 500 subs before Scarlet and Violet came out. We've kind of blown that out of the water recently, so why not try to push for 600? That'd be really cool, right? I don't know, we're almost halfway there, so let's see if we can do that. So, you know, consider hitting subscribe. Anyway, let's go ahead and go over the tiers real quick. We have our Hoopa tier, we have the S tier, we have A+, A, B+, B, and C. So, yeah, we're gonna be, you know, ruffling these up a little bit, splitting them up a little bit more, maybe trying to make it a little bit more accurate with more tiers. I don't know, we'll see what ends up happening. Also, the blue is bugging me, so let's go ahead and make it like a, let's make it like a vomit green. Yeah, that looks a lot better. All right, perfect. Anyway, I literally just rolled out of bed and ignore the fact that it's almost 5 p.m. But yeah, my brain and my mouth is just not my mouth is not working as fast as my brain. Let's go ahead and start off with supporters. First off, let's go ahead and throw Hoopa in the Hoopa tier. Hoopa is not overpowered. Hoopa is not broken in terms of damage. Hoopa is broken in terms of the utility it provides to a team. Hyperspace Hole's broken. Its ult's broken. It's in a tier of its own. It's Hoopa. Speaking of a Pokemon that is completely broken, we have Blissey. Blissey is one of the best characters. It's not the best character in the game right now. It is just truly disgusting what this character is allowed to do. It doesn't die. It heals way too much. One of the best Unite moves in the game. It's absurd how good Blissey is. All right, moving on. Let's do Mr. Mime next. Mr. Mime, I'm gonna put it in B for now. Yeah, it's a weird Pokemon. I really like Mr. Mime. The problem with Mr. Mime is its late game is really bad, and I've been saying this for a really long time. If you switch the order it gets its level up moves in, so if you give it Barrier or Guard Swap Plus at 11, then this character is borderline broken because Guard Swap Plus is one of the best moves in the entire game. So yeah, Mr. Mime, really good. Confusion, incredibly strong, but I don't know, its late game is really bad, so we're putting it in B. It has a really good Unite move though. I really like Mr. Mime. It's just, I don't know, its late game struggles a little bit. Speaking of struggling a little bit, I'm gonna put Eldegoss in B tier as well. Eldegoss is not a bad Pokemon. It's just everything it does with its kit, Blissey just does better. Like, Blissey heals way more. Blissey has better shield. It has a better Unite move for keeping its team alive. The one thing that Eldegoss has is Leaf Tornado that can move more than one person around a little bit, but Blissey also has Helping Hand that gives movement speed. So yeah, it's not that Eldegoss is bad, it's just that Blissey is broken. So for that reason, we put our friend Eldegoss down there. And then Wigglytuff, I'm gonna put Wiggly also in B. Yeah, it's not that any of these characters are bad per se, it's just Blissey and Hoopa are in a world of their own. Like, they're just truly completely outclassed, and it's really unfortunate because these three supporters are honestly way more fun to play. Well, maybe not way more fun to play because Blissey is really fun to play. Even before it was broken, Blissey's always been fun. It's just Blissey is way too good right now. But yeah, the problem with Wiggly is, wouldn't you know, Blissey just hard counters it with Safeguard. I know, crazy, right? But Wigglytuff is really fun. If there isn't a Blissey on the other team, Sing still provides incredible value. Cute Charm is still a really good ability. All of its attacks are decent. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with Wiggly. Again, Blissey exists. So there we go. Let's go ahead and do attackers next. We'll just start off with our friend Venusaur. I'm putting Venusaur in A+ tier. I don't think it's quite overpowered. I don't think it's quite S tier, but it's very close, especially with cooldown builds. It's just incredibly strong. I think I do this literally every tier list. I put Venusaur in A+ tier and then move it up, but I think I could justify not putting it there right now. I just think there are a couple attackers and a couple just Pokemon that do a little bit better these days, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with Venusaur. One of the best attackers in the game, just pumps out insane damage, and I'm gonna do it. I look at how consistently Venusaur does 100,000 plus damage against any team comp, whether that be squishies, whether that be, you know, fat HP sponges, Venusaur just does insane damage and very well against any comp in the game. I can't justify putting it in A+ tier. It's just, it's not the best attacker in the game, but it is the most consistent attacker in the game. It's just crazy. Like, I don't know, man. Cooldown emblems broke this character. It's very strong. Gardevoir. It's B+ or A, and I'm gonna put it in A for one reason alone. Moonblast. Moonblast is the most broken attack in the game. It's the best stun in the entire game. Moving on. I hate Gardevoir. Nah, just kidding. It's very strong in jungle. Okay in lane these days. I still wouldn't really play a lane Gardevoir. If you're playing a lane Gardevoir, you have to be pretty aggressive as Ralts because you are useless. Ralts is terrible. But yeah, I don't know. Once you get Gardevoir though, you're really good. Solid Unite move, and like I said, Moonblast is the most broken attack in the game. It is way too strong, way too good of a stun. Greninja. I'm gonna put you in A+ just because I don't think you benefit as much from emblems as some other Pokemon. Still a very strong character, still one of the best hyper carries in the game. It's Greninja. Same thing with Cinderace. I'm gonna put it in S tier though, and I'm gonna put it in S tier for one specific reason, because people don't think Cinderace is good. For some reason, people think Cinderace isn't one of the best characters in the game, and that just baffles me. Blaze Kick stuns people. Blaze Kick traps people. It has the best auto attacks in the game. Really solid Unite move. Yeah, a lot of Cinderaces are clowns, a lot of Cinderaces are trolls and will lose you games, but Cinderace is a completely unbalanced character, and I've been saying this for forever, so I'm putting it in S tier where I truly believe it belongs. And speaking of belongs in S tier, we're going to go ahead and put Cram up there as well. I'm so happy we live in a world where Cram is genuinely considered really good. I love Cramorant. It's been one of my favorite characters when it was, you know, way down here, but cooldown emblems exist. Cramorant is disgustingly good, and I love it. Play it in the jungle, play it in lane. Cramorant is amazing, and I'm so happy that it is amazing. Pikachu, gonna put you in A+ tier as well. Everything about this character is good. Every single thing about this character is unbelievable. Very strong early game, very strong mid game with stuns, and you get your net move super early and all the time. And then its late game does struggle a little bit. It does struggle a little bit with secures, but man, you can stun people with pretty much every move in your kit. Volt Tackle, Electro Ball is one of the easiest builds to play and is one of the highest value builds in the game. Like, it is so crazy how good that build is and how much control it gives you over the enemies and just over the battlefield in general. Being able to stun and take a carry out of the fight for just an insane amount of time. Drop your Electro Ball on them, boom, Unite, and they're dead. Well, okay, the combo honestly is Volt Tackle in, pop your ult, Electro Ball, whatever ends up getting the lowest, and it's pretty much just a kill on any squishy. Pikachu is ridiculous. So yeah, love me some Pikachu. Ninetales, it's borderline A tier for me. I'm gonna put it in B+ just because I think Gardevoir provides a little bit more value as that range mage, as this Pikachu, as this Cramorant, but Ninetales is still very solid. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't know. I think Gardevoir provides a little bit more consistent crowd control with stuns. Same thing with Pikachu, and then Cramorant just pumps out way more damage, although it's pretty close. Ninetales is a bit of a damage dealer. The problem with Ninetales is it has just pitiful secure. So a little bit hard to carry solo queue, but if you're laning with some friends or you're laning with a really strong lane, there's not a whole lot stronger Pokemon in lane than Ninetales. Ninetales is the best pure lane attacker in the game. I say that as it's not the best jungle. Like, you could get away with running Ninetales jungle, but it is the best pure laner in terms of mages in the game, I think. All right, moving on to Sylveon. I'm gonna put Sylveon in A tier because again, cooldown emblems are ridiculous on this character. They've made Mystical Fire at least somewhat decent, which is impressive to say because Mystical Fire is terrible. But you know, with some cooldown emblems, you can get away with it. Calm Mind and Draining Kiss are both in a usable place at the moment, and then Hyper Voice. Hyper Voice is still incredibly strong. I don't know. The only thing holding Sylveon back is a mediocre Unite move, but it's not even that bad of a Unite move. You heal off of all your abilities, so that's pretty cool. Ninetales is in a decent spot, or not Ninetales, Sylveon in a decent spot. Decidueye. I'm gonna put you in A+ tier, buddy, and that's simply because I love playing you. It's in a decent position where there's not a ton of super bursty, destructive characters in the meta right now, so you can get away with playing Decidueye a decent amount and doing a lot of damage. The problem is, if you let anything with burst damage get close to you, you're just dead. So you have to play very safe with Decidueye, but Spirit Shackle is still one of the best attacks in the entire game. A decent enough Unite move. It's a character you have to know how to play, but you can still get unbelievable value out of the Decidueye, and it is very good. I love the Decidueye. I'm putting it in A+. I'm also going to be putting this character, Duraludon, in A+ tier. I think Duraludon is extremely underrated right now. It's not as good as it was on release, but honestly, it's pretty damn close. It provides a ton of value in terms of just being able to rip apart objectives and secure very well with Dragon Pulse. Again, you can run Flash Cannon if you like, but I don't really see the value when you have one of the best secures in the game as your other move, but it's fine. It's a decent enough Unite move as well. You just have to be a little bit careful, which is why I've honestly turned to running full heal on this character, so I can guarantee get my Unite move off, because your Unite move does a ton of damage if you are able to land it. The problem is literally everything in the game can just cancel your Unite move, so you do lose a little bit of value not having X attack on it, but that's just how I play it. If you can get away with running X attack and consistently get your Unite move off, then yeah, this character is ridiculous. All of its moves are good. Like Flash Cannon does absurd damage. The problem is you lose out on secure. Flash Cannon is one of those builds that you can carry a game with and be really mad at your team for not doing enough damage and not helping you out, but you just lose every objective flip because you're not playing Dragon Pulse. So yeah, I mean, it's fun, it's really strong, but I can't honestly recommend it with a straight face. Espeon is the worst character in the game. I don't think it's really close. Espeon has one good thing about his kit, and that's Psyshock. Everything else about Espeon is not exactly great. It's way too squishy. Future Sight resets are like cool getting them, but Future Sight does so little damage that you're never gonna get a KO with it. Psybeam is, I don't know, it's a little just straight line zap, and it does okay damage. And then what's the other move? Sword Power. Sword Power is just bad. AC Nut move is okay, but you leave yourself completely vulnerable. People can still just blow you up during it. So I don't know, man. Espeon's in a rough spot. Espeon's in a really rough spot, and I don't love it. But it does do pretty damn decent damage if you are able to get ramped up, and for some reason people don't just jump on you and murder you in 2 seconds. Like, you can do a lot with Ninetales or Espeon. You can carry with it a little bit. It's not impossible to play. It's just if the enemies are smart and they see an Espeon, they just walk at you, take your one Psyshock stun that you get in the fight, and just delete you from the game. So yeah. Also, the problem with Psyshock is you have to hit all 5 of the little projectiles. They get a worse stun than Moonblast. They get a worse stun than anything Pikachu does. They get a worse stun than Egg Bomb. You get a worse stun than Astonish. And you have to hit all 5 of your abilities. They get a worse stun than Confusion. I don't know. Espeon's terrible. Anyway, moving on to one of the best characters in the game, in my opinion, Delphox, going straight to the S tier. I love Delphox. It's so good. It's far from overpowered these days. People were a little bit, perturbed by how good Fire Spin was out of the gate. And I didn't even think Fire Spin was broken. And then we have Fire Spin in a place where it doesn't do any damage. It doesn't chase very long at all. And it's still really solid. You get so many resets with this character. Cooldown emblems are just disgusting on this Pokemon. It's insane. I love Delphox so much. It is incredibly fun to play. Try it out. All right, Glaceon. Glaceon is a weird one. Glaceon actually has a Unite move bug. And I'm not exactly sure how this works, so if this isn't how it works, you know what, actually, I'm probably better off not telling you how the Unite move bug works, because I don't want people abusing it. So just know that there's a very strong bug with this character's Unite move, and please don't abuse it if you figure out how it works. But yeah, it's a little bit broken at the moment. Also, why is my... All right, sorry about that. My recording timer on OBS was not like going up, so it was just stuck at one time, and it was a little bit weird. Anyway, getting back to Espeon, getting back to Glaceon, leaving it in because don't care. Like I said, its Unite move has a little bit of a bug. I'm not going to tell you how to abuse it, but I still think Glaceon is a very strong character, so I'm going to put it in the A tier. It does really good damage with Icicle Spear. Ice Shard is a very good move as well. Icy Wind, however, is also a usable move. You get a little bit of mobility out of it. I just think Glaceon has a lot more going for it than a character like Espeon. The problem with the Eevees in general, I think Eevees are some of the weakest laners in game, and the problem with a lot of Eevees that I run into personally, they play so unbelievably passive that they just end up being an Eevee for way too long. Like, I don't know, if you're playing Eevee, you have to be a little bit more aggressive to get your 4. You can't just be sitting on your zone praying to get, a little bit of farm, because people will just walk at you and steal your farm and you'll be stuck. Like, you have to be a little bit aggressive. You have to go for neutral. You have to push with your laner as well to try to steal stuff or whatever. You just have to be a little bit more aggressive. You can't just sit back and pray that you secure, because Eevees all have god awful secure. So just play more aggressive with Eevees in lane if you're gonna play Eevees in lane. That's my only ask as you Eevee players. These two characters in particular are very strong if you are able to get Eevee fast. The problem is so many Eevee players just sit back and pray that they get experience, and they oftentimes don't. All right, moving on, let's go ahead and get speedsters out of the way. Gengar is pretty damn good at the moment. I'm very sick of running into Gengars that will just one-shot pretty much everything in the game and not get punished for it. Gengar is a very easy character to punish if your team pays attention to it. Problem is, a lot of people don't pay attention to Gengar and just let it constantly jump into their team, kill everything, and get a million resets. So it is a little bit annoying in that regard, but Gengar is a very strong character, but it's a little bit of an all-in character, because if you miss an ability, you're dead. It's that simple. You have to be a little bit careful with what you're doing, but yeah, Gengar, very strong. Gonna go ahead and put it in the S tier. Moving on to Absol. Absol. It's borderline A for me. I'm gonna put it in A tier. We can put it in A tier. I think it's pretty strong. Problems with Absol is it's not overpowered anymore, and it's that's pretty much the only problem with it. Like, it's still a very solid character, don't get me wrong, but it fits more in like this middle of the tiers where it belongs, where previously it was, you know, the most broken thing in existence. Yeah, it's a very solid character, nothing wrong with it. It's just it doesn't one-shot every character in the game anymore, so that's a good thing. Putting it in the A tier. Talonflame, I think Talonflame is honestly pretty rough at the moment. It's borderline bad for me, but I'm gonna put it in B tier. Simply because it does still provide a decent amount of value. It provides okay secure with fly, and you can still do a lot of maneuverability stuff with it. Bravebird is, I guess, not the best at the moment, but it's still okay. Like, it does a lot of burst damage. The problem is it just doesn't do anything that any of the characters that do burst damage above it don't. Like, it's not unbelievably good compared to, you know, how good you know, something like the Decidueye or the Duraludon is with burst damage, or even Gengar, really. So yeah, it's been a little bit outclassed by some stuff. It's not bad by any means, but it's just not, you know, great at the moment. Speaking of great at the moment, we have Zeraora. I'm gonna put Zeraora in A+. It's borderline S for me. The problem is it still comes online a little bit late, and it's not the best early game if you're not in jungle. Like, it's an okay laner. It can be really strong in lane. It's just, I don't know, it gets its first move at level 6, and its first move is Volt Switch. Like, it's okay. Or Spark, I guess, but yeah, it's fine. Discharge just rips apart enemies. Wild Charge is one of the cringiest moves in the history of this game. I still think Wild Charge is completely broken, but that's another topic. I've talked about it ad nauseum. I just used that word. What up? Subscribe for that. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on. Zeraora A+, very strong, great unit move as well. Let's see defenders, get them out of the way. Snorlax, I think Snorlax is borderline terrible right now, but I can't justify putting it in the same tier as Espeon. It has a really strong early game, and then it just completely falls off. Like, ironically, once it gets its abilities. Flail is bad. Like, anyone saying Flail is broken, just run, you know, 80 all-arounder, and you're doing the same thing but better. Yawn is really strong, honestly. Yawn is like a very strong, like, stun or slow or whatever you want to call it. Yawn's pretty good. Block is okay. Block is really good. I don't know, just the character Snorlax itself oftentimes just feels like a damaged one. It's one of the worst unite moves in the game. Like, I don't know, Snorlax is fine. You can do okay with it in some games, but every other defender is better, and if you're playing Flow, every all-arounder is better at that playstyle. So yeah, gonna go ahead and put you in the old B tier, buddy. Crustle is a borderline A tier character for me. I'm gonna put it in B+ though, simply because I don't think it provides enough value in team fights unless you're landing consistently fat X scissors. So it's really strong. Obviously, getting crits back on this character helped a lot. It has a decent enough unite move where you just become unkillable. But the thing is, if you're not providing, you know, great team support in fights, like, you have to really land like big X scissors to provide a ton of value. This character is much better in solo queue than it is in coordinated play. So if you're playing with your friends, you're probably better off playing any other defender. But if you're, you know, just running around causing chaos with Crustle, like, it's still fine. So for that reason, I'm gonna put it in B+ tier, because I think, you know, other defenders provide better team fight value, such as Blastoise. Gonna put Blastoise in the A tier. Both of its builds are good at the moment. Both of its builds, you know, do what a defender is supposed. Well, Surf Hydro Pump finally feels like a really solid defender build. Rapid Spin, Water Spout still does a lot of damage, so you can still get away with doing really anything on Blastoise and be fine. So putting it in the A tier. Still a great unite move. Slowbro, best defender in the game right now, putting it straight into that S tier. I think it is very strong. Scald is ridiculously good. Heals a ton, doesn't die. Love me some Slowbro. All right. Moving on to, do we need an S plus tier? Because it's getting a little bit crowded up here. Let's get an S plus tier in this. I didn't plan on doing this, but I realized how crowded the S tier was getting. So let's go ahead and get ourselves an S plus tier. Why not? Why not? Why not get ourselves an S plus tier? I didn't really plan on it. We can make this one blue. Yeah, that's a good blue for S plus. You go there, you go there, you go there, you go there. Or this. I like that better. Let's do that. All right. And then we can move you up. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We have an S plus tier now. All right. Let's go ahead and do, what did we just do? We did Slowbro. Let's do Mamoswine. Mamoswine. I'll put Mamoswine B plus. I think it's fine. Nothing wrong with a little bit of Mamoswine. It's just, I don't know. It's pretty weak. It struggles a little bit against range. It doesn't do a lot. It has one of the weakest unite moves in the entire game. So I don't know. It's fine. It freezes everything. It can be a little bit hard to engage on a lot of range characters, but if you're in a big brawly team fight, like, it's pretty good. Like, I like Mamoswine a lot. I just think Slowbro's better. I also think this character's better, but we'll get to that in a second. Greedence. I'm gonna put Greedent in A plus. I hate playing against Greedent. It's very strong. It rips apart objectives with Bullet Seed. Covet Belch is still really strong as well. So I don't know. I hate Greedent. Putting it in A plus tier. It doesn't die. It's one of the weirdest, most annoying characters to ever exist. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. All right, Trevenant. I love Trevenant. I love it so much. I'm putting it in A plus tier. It also just does not die. It provides so much team fight support if you're able to land some fat horn leeches, but it provides more than Greedent or Crustle does outside of that. So yeah, it's another character that just will not die. Great laner. It has a decent enough early game these days. Fantastic with sacking. Everything about Tree is just really good. One of the best unite moves in the game. I'm gonna keep hammering this home until everyone realizes how good Trevenant unite move is. It's a really solid like burst of damage, and then if people just focus what you hit, they're done. They're done. The markings that this character's unite move gives you, like, bro, like get yourself a Cinderace near it, get yourself any like really strong auto attacker, and those things just get deleted. They just get deleted. It's a really good unite move. I love Trevenant. All right, let's go ahead and do our friendly neighborhood all-arounders. I'm actually gonna skip Garchomp for now because it is very comparable to Tyranitar. Let's go ahead and let's do Lucario. I'm gonna put Lucario at the very tippy top of S. The only reason it's not S plus is because the two people I'm going to put in S plus are broken, whereas Lucario is just what it's always been. One of the best characters in the game, one of the most consistently overpowered, strong characters in the game. Like, Lucario is still broken, make no mistake about it. It's just, I'm going to put two characters in S plus tier, and I think we all know what they are, that are just a little bit better at the moment. And it's not because Lucario's bad, it's just because this character is broken. All right, moving on to Charizard. Charizard's more of a jungler than a laner. I guess we could just split these up into junglers and laners, so we'll do that. Jungler, kind of either, more jungler I'd say, but yeah. All right, Charizard as a jungler, I'm gonna put you in A plus just because you still have one of the best unite moves in the game. Very strong. Actually, no, you're going down to A because too many people play this character in lane to justify putting it A plus. Charizard is one of the worst laners in the game. It's so weak as a Charmander. It gets okay as a Charmeleon because you get your attack, but Charmander is so terrible in lane. Why would you put it in lane when you could just get Charmeleon in jungle? Like, I don't understand playing this character in lane. It's really bad. But yeah, one of the best unite moves in the game. Crits a ton. Like, crit emblems on this character are just ridiculous. I love Charizard a lot. Putting it in A tier. A slash I'm going to put in A plus, is you can get away with playing it a little bit more in lane than you can in jungle, but it's still a very strong jungler. So yeah, it is quite good. I really like Wide Guard, very strong. Sacred Sword, very strong. You can just delete characters once you learn how to juggle your abilities. Shuttle Claw is okay. Iron Head's okay. I wouldn't recommend playing them over the other build, but it's a little bit easier to play. So if you're struggling a little bit, maybe start out with some Iron Head Shuttle Claws, but I would really try to learn Wide Guard very quickly because Wide Guard stuns are very strong and you build up your stacks by clicker. Yeah, Aegis Slash is just ridiculous. Love it. Dragonite's going in S+ tier. I think it's the best jungler in the game. Like, you could argue it in Gengar, obviously, but I think in coordinated play, it's not even a question how much better Dragonite is. Like, Dragonite is easily the best jungler in coordinated play. Just Hyper Beam secures are ridiculous. It's one of the best characters in the game. Basically, it's an ADC in an all-rounder's body. It does come on a little bit late game, but it also evolves before pretty much everything else as an all-rounder, except for like Azu. But yeah, or a lot of other jugglers as well. Like, it evolves at level 8 and gets online at level 8. So yeah, it's very strong. Hyper Beam is ridiculous. I love Dragonite. Don't play Outrage. Outrage is bad. Let me just go ahead and say that again for the people in the back who swear by Outrage Dragonite. Outrage Dragonite sucks. Don't play it. All right. Oh, that's gonna ruffle some feathers. All right. Azumarill, you can get away with playing this character in lane. I really like Azu. Putting it solidly in the A tier though. Nah, it's not as good as Charizard in jungle or in lane. Like, it's a good character, don't get me wrong. I really like it, but the problem with its gimmick is against good players, they will just jump on you 1v2 and you're done. Like, it's cool that this character can crit in 1v1s. It's very strong in 1v1s, but a good team will just jump on you and you won't be able to really catch in single lane. You have to play this character kind of like an assassin. You have to play it kind of like a Gengar or a Greninja, where you just look for one character and pick off the weakest character in a team fight and then try to snowball from there. Like, it has a really strong, really fast charging Unite move. Water Pulse does mitigate the multiple team fight thing a little bit. Whirlpool does a little bit as well. But I don't know, Aqua Tail is insane right now. The problem is, against, like, even in solo queue or even in like duos or trios, a good team will just jump on an Azumarill and not let it provide enough value. And yeah, that's a little bit yikes to me. All right, moving on to Buzzwole. This is a weird one for me. I think Buzzwole's really good. I'm putting it still in the A tier. I think Superpower is broken. Like, it is just so good. Superpower is broken. The problem is the rest of this character's kit is kind of meh. Like, Smackdown is really cool. It's gimmicky, but I don't think it's good. I think Lunge is way better, especially because you're just, able to catch up with people a little bit better and stay on them a little bit better with Lunge. And just throwing people around with Superpower is so strong, especially early game. Like, Superpower just deletes squishies early. So yeah, Buzzwole very, very strong. Like it a lot. Its Unite move is not the best. I don't like, it's supposed to target weakened things, but oftentimes it just hits nothing. I'm not sure if it's bugged or anything like that, but yeah, it's a little bit weird at the moment. All right, Machamp. I'm gonna put you right next to Lucario. I'm gonna put you slightly below. I was gonna put you S+, but I don't think you quite are, because I think Lucario is still gonna see just a ton more play in the old World Championships that are going on today as I'm recording this. I think more teams are going to play Lucario than Machamp, because I think Machamp obviously just has to evolve, and that's the one thing that it doesn't provide. I could be completely wrong about that. I could be totally wrong about that. Who knows? But Machamp is incredibly strong. You can run your crit emblems on it these days and just delete shit with Cross Chop. Problem with Cross Chop is, though, if you don't crit, you're kind of just a sitting duck. So for that reason, I'm putting it in S tier, but it is very good, incredibly strong, and borderline overpowered. It's not borderline overpowered, it is overpowered. Machamp's broken. One of, if not the best Unite moves in the game, especially for Zap Fight, so we're putting it in the S tier. And this character, best character in the game. So, I mean, it's different. It's broken in a different way than Hoopa. Serena's overpowered. Serena is just completely broken. I think Serena needs to be nerfed into the dirt. It does too much damage with Stomp. Stomp is just unbelievably good. Its Unite move is really strong as well. Getting just so many resets with Chop Kick and just deleting everything with Stomp. Like, this character, it is stupid how broken Serena is. But some people think, I heard this take on a relatively popular streamers. I don't know if it was a video or a stream, but he had the audacity to say Serena was a weak laner. That is one of the most brain dead takes I've ever heard. Serena is a very strong laner. Serena is, like I said, the most broken character in the game once it evolves. I think Serena is stupid. I think it's completely overpowered. I think it's best character in the game. Different best character in the game than Hoopa. Hoopa's not up here because it's the best character in the game. Hoopa's up here because of the value it provides. I think we made that pretty clear. And then next up we have Chompy Boy. All right, so we have Chomp and ttar left. These two characters are very similar in the fact that if you're struggling against them, or you're worried about them, you can literally just walk away from them and they're freaking useless. Like, they are so easy to kite, they are so weak to stuns, they're so weak to crowd control that you can just walk away from them and they're fine. I do, however, think one of them is just a little bit better than the other. I'm gonna put Garchomp in B tier. I love Garchomp so much. It's my favorite character to play. I love Garchomp. I'm not gonna disparage Garchomp. I think it's an amazing Pokemon. The problem with Garchomp is it's very weak to stuns. It is very hard to get online, and it suffers from Garchomp syndrome, which is what Tyranitar suffers from as well, but it's named that because of Garchomp. You can literally just walk away from the character, just slowly press your stick to the opposite direction of the Garchomp, and the character is useless. So yeah, I do think Tyranitar is a little bit better though. Where are we gonna put ttar, the new guy, the new kid on the block? I'm gonna put Tyranitar in A tier. So this might cause some controversy because I see some people talking about Tyranitar like it's up here, like it's one of the best broken releases of all time. I'm gonna actually bump it up to A+. I don't think it's an S tier character by any means. I think it is incredibly strong. I just think it is so weak to range attackers. I think it is so weak to stuns. I think it is so weak to crowd control that this character, I can't justify putting it in S tier when once people figure out how to play against it, and people already have, by the way, figured out how to play against it, like on release night, people were figuring out just walk the other way and this character is useless. So yeah, I can't justify putting any higher for that simple reason. Like, yeah, you can run X speed on it to mitigate it a little bit. Yeah, ancient power helps a little bit, but okay, yeah, you can do some good stuff with the character. You can, like, obviously it is unbelievably strong. It is a very, very strong if people let you get close to them. A good team, especially in a couple weeks, will not let that happen. Good players will not let that happen. Like, already, like, a Cinderace just jumps around you, kites around you, and just deletes you with auto attacks. Delphox just fire spins you and leaves. Blissey just eggs you and leaves. Serena could just fight you and kill you. Slowbro Scalds really hurt this character. You don't do enough damage to beat a Venusaur in a 1v1 a lot of times. Greninja, meh, Primer, whatever, a little bit of a wash there. Decidueye will just snipe you, but if you get close to Decidueye, done. Same thing with the Pikachu. Pikachu just stuns you and you're done. Duraludon, especially if you're playing Flash Cannon. Well, Flash Cannon Duraludon is hard counter by ttar. Zeraora, if they're playing Wild Charge, you know, whatever. But yeah, like Wide Guard specifically, like Tyranitar, it's a weird interaction between these two because you can just, you know, attack through the Wide Guard, but if you stun, I don't know, it's a little bit of a 50-50. Gardevoir hard counters this character. Ninetales kind of hard counters this character. It's just weird. It's weird. Like, you range stuns, just kill this character. But if you get on people, if you get near them and you're able to ancient power into them and dark pulse and just start doing true damage, you can delete an entire team in an instant. So it's weird. Like, you can do the same sort of stuff with Garchomp too. Like, if you catch like a big freaking team fight and you're able to dragon combo in and start slashing people down, yeah, you can do a lot of damage. You can do a lot of crazy things with Garchomp. It's a little bit more consistent on Tyranitar, which is why I put it way ahead of Garchomp. It does have a really strong Unite move. The problem with this Unite move is, again, people just kite it. People just walk away from it. So you're not getting a ton of value out of it. But if you're able to catch, like if you're able to combo something like a Gardevoir Unite maybe, or I don't know, like if you're able to just catch people in like an area when they're all low, like maybe people are walking on the choke in a Zap fight and they walk into a Decidueye Unite and you're able to come in and clean up all those KOs. Like, you can get away with it in an area like that. Honestly, I'd say it's probably better to just use it in a one-on-one or a one-on-two situation and just try to delete one of the characters. I think you're probably better off doing something like that than trying to wipe a whole team with it or trying to get away with, you know, using it in a big group. I think it's a weird Unite move. Where there are instances when you can just delete an entire team if you know, catch everyone low, like I said. But oftentimes, more times than not, you're probably just better off using this to just delete one character and try to catch another. So yeah, it's a really good Pokemon. I don't think there's anything wrong with it per se. I don't think it's bad by any means. I think it's very strong, very, very strong. I think the problem with it is people will slowly figure out how easy it is to kite. I think it's honestly easier to kite than Garchomp in some ways, but it still provides way, way, way more value than Garchomp even when it's getting kited. So A+ tier character, far from broken, but still very good, putting it smack dab kind of in the middle, but still technically higher tiered than a lot of things. So that's what we have. Please roast me for my takes being shit, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.